Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flicks discussion of Homeland. Ben Mankiewicz, Alonso Duralde, Robert Abele is back. Robert, thanks for being here.
Sure.
This week's episode is called either One Last Time or Horse and Wagon.
Depending on who you believe.
Right.
Horse and Wagon if you like oblique titles, One Last Time if you like simplified titles.
Right. So it's the second episode this year where we see Brody. We're sort of all about.
Well, unless you count that snippet from last week.
Well, I mean, but where Brody leads the way.
Where Brody gets a chunk.
Right, Brody gets a chunk. So I was mixed on this episode. I guess ultimately I enjoyed it because I certainly left thinking, oh, come on. Like, you know, when it's over, which is always good. Like, no, don't be over. Give me one more scene.
It kind of felt like one of those housekeeping episodes of like, all right, we got to move things forward and shit's got to happen. And so, yeah, a lot goes down, you know, story-wise.
It's an exposition episode. It's a transition episode to like the rest. Clearly, like this is setting up what's going to happen for the end of the rest of the season.
They did something that I don't recall Homeland doing, and that none of these sort of in this golden age of television, or second golden age of television, that they do. You know, we had the kind of abrupt 16 days later.
That was the first, I think, for the show. It's like, whoa!
And all of a sudden, that's all it takes, apparently. The good news is, turns out I'm incredibly out of shape, but in two weeks and 2 days, I could be jogging with the Marines, and I'm not in as bad as shit. I'm not on heroin.
That was it. Nothing like a few mind-bending hallucinations to get you off the horse.
Well, I attributed it to muscle memory. I mean, my guess is like once he started doing this stuff, like it all came back. Like, oh yeah, that's how you get in shape. Oh yeah, that's what I do as a Marine. You know, it's like that's. You know, but it is that the 16 days later was.
You have to do it once not on heroin, and then you can do it again later.
I'm making fun of it, but the fact is, and I was reading some of the recaps, and people, there seemed to be some objection to that. I'm actually with you. I think it is. Like, he was a Marine. Yeah. He was once in as good top 0.5%.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it came back, and he was not. It wasn't like he was 48 pounds overweight. You know, he just needed to eat some steak and jog. You know.
Although that image is now fixed in my head, with the overweight Brody.
At the end of White Christmas, trying to squeeze into his old uniform.
Yeah. No, but, you know, if you
Javadi, let me tell you. Hang on a sec.
But like, you have to say the 16 days later is really indicative of Homeland in general, because like Homeland is one of those shows where like once you think it as an audience, they go ahead and do it.
Right.
So like, you know, this show is just not going to mess around with an entire 2 episodes of him training and all this stuff. They're just going to like, let's just get to the bar where he's
montage.
Yeah, no, that was okay. But it's interesting. They set up a problem that no one would think was a problem and then solved it. Like, they were up against this artificial deadline that they made up. Or I guess maybe they got themselves trapped into it with Saul's, you have 12 days left, you have 10 days left. And then they're like, oh, Jesus, Brody's on heroin. Like, he can't possibly be ready. No one would believe that. Yeah. So now we set up this spy thing, which we were thinking was tied to the main plot with Saul's wife.
Right.
But really that ends up just being a way to blackmail the senator to get out of the problem which they told us about in the first place. Like, hey, we don't have time, we'll set up this, do you have an extra 3 weeks?
But few ways of solving a problem are as entertaining as that scene was.
Totally
I mean, it's like you that's what you know, that's what you want from a scene like that. Is it's the juicy stuff, is the stuff between Saul and the senator and their back and forth, and the fact that he got him like that was great.
It was great. I would have gone for more than 3 weeks. I mean, considering you had his whole career, I would have said 6 weeks. Yeah, 2 months. Delay your hearing just until Thanksgiving or whatever. Some period of time, their Thanksgiving, not our Thanksgiving. You know, some period of time that, but he really sold himself short. It was a Barack Obama-like negotiation there by Saul. Yeah.
I will say, as much as we think that Saul is, we question his morals or his ethics or, his understanding of how human beings work. The idea that rather than hang Tracy Letts out to dry, that he's actually going to hold back to save the agency and to not have his wife's name be dragged to them. It's like, oh, okay. So
that's the Saul we recognize from season 1
and 2, really.
And 2, right.
So Saul's inconsistency is. You know, it bothered me a lot when we were doing the episodes early in the year. It just seemed, even the way Saul reacted to the Persian translator and financial woman. That what was her name?
Farah.
in the way Saul reacted to Farah. Like, I thought they overdid the sort of, there's a woman with a headscarf here in this investigation and the thing, and I just didn't think Saul would ever participate in that. And in fact, the way the season has gone, even the shock of the explosion, his sort of wistful yearning for the old days, pre-revolution Iran, really to me suggests that he would never have behaved that way toward Farah.
My argument at the time was I think there was just that sort of lingering shell shock from the Langley explosion having just happened. I'm willing to float that one. As you know, I'm still wrestling with the Saul and Carrie we're in on it thing, but that one I'm willing to let go.
What I liked about those early episodes before we found out that it was kind of partly a manufactured plot is that they were reacting, I thought, realistically to what you do in the wake of an explosion. You do change things. I mean, we're seeing Saul turn into somebody who's a little more hardcore, and you probably would feel that after seeing all your colleagues die.
And also, we learned about Saul that from season 1 that he was sort of just this sort of analyst, and he had a different temperament, a slow down, let's be careful, what we don't know, we don't know, let's not pretend we know what we don't know, to sound like Don Rumsfeld. But he was serious about it, unlike Rumsfeld, who gets into his own maze and can't get out. But we forget, like, this guy's been running CIA operations for 40 years or 30 years, and we know that, there's some bad shit that went on in Daradal's past. Right. But you know what? Saul too. They did. Isn't the CIA? These guys did horrible things.
Yeah, they've got at least one death squad apiece on them somewhere.
Totally. Yeah.
No, and in fact, finding out that the operation now, when the operation, we learned it involved placing somebody high up with Javadi, we thought, okay, yeah. Now that we know that it involves taking somebody out, we're like, whoa, no, this is the bad part of the CIA. It's like, that's why this episode is one of those things that makes you kind of nervous, because you're like, you want this operation to go down well, but it involves this element that has so many potential ways of going wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts here, and I don't know that. Here's mine that I came up with, and maybe I'm missing the point here, but doesn't it seem, given Saul's plan, that if you put Javadi in charge of the Republican Army, that he then becomes less manipulable because his embezzlement is something that it's more dangerous for him having to be caught having embezzled all that money from the Republican Guard as a lower echelon person than as the top guy.
Because maybe he could manipulate.
Once you're top guy, you can be absolved or cover up things or whatever.
He was doing it. He channeled it to a special intelligence operation. It was not for his own use. It was to kill the infidels.
So it just seems like Saul's plan is going to invalidate the usefulness of Javadi as an inside man.
It could well be. It also is and again, reading some of these recaps this morning, it's a crazy plan. We're going to send this guy in, this American, who they're going to believe somehow made his way to, where are they sending him in from? Where do we get that? What country is he coming in, crossing the border at? Doesn't matter.
I forget. Where the other Al-Qaeda people had asked for.
Right, so maybe, wherever he's coming in from, that maybe Afghanistan, that he, but whatever it is, so this guy, he's going, that suddenly the Iranians are going to embrace him as the Langley bomber. And that he's going to then get an audience and I guess shoot the guy or kill him with his pacemaker just as the head of the revolution.
Snap his neck like a stalk of celery.
And then Javadi will come. Is it Javadi or Javardi? I don't even know.
It's Javadi, according to Tafara.
Okay, all right. Then Javardi will be installed and everything will be fine. And then what? And then they'll just talk and there'll be peace?
Well,
but by the way, it turns out you don't even need all that. You just need a phone call between Barack Obama and the president, and then they start talking.
I'm thinking, my guess is that right now, what I'm thinking is that is Saul's idea about Brody going in is kind of foolproof, because if it goes wrong, he's killed, and then the world just thinks he's the Langley bomber, and it's not like, okay. But then what that does in terms of the drama of the show is that it creates a rift even further between Carrie and Saul, because Carrie wants Brody to come back alive.
Maybe for Saul, although you could have just killed him in Caracas, of course, but sure. You're right. If it goes wrong, then, because Brody, even if Brody screaming that he's not the Langley bomber, or there's a trial where Carrie, that doesn't That doesn't help Saul.
Who's going to defend him?
Right. I mean, like, oh, and by the way, no, I'm not the Langley bomber. I did take a suicide vest in with the vice president into a bunker.
And here to testify on my behalf is the woman who Saul told the country is bipolar and had an affair with me. You know.
Yes.
Right. I mean, no good comes of.
Yeah, when they explained his extraction strategy, I was like, you have an extraction strategy? Like, who are we kidding? He's not getting out of there.
My, I'll give this, my girlfriend has long believed that Saul is, I mean, I don't know whether she's serious or not, I never know, that Saul is not on our side. That Saul will be revealed to be some sort of
mole,
some sort of double agent. I think she just says things, you know, like I don't know.
That's a long game.
That's a very long game.
It's a really long game.
But that would, is there? Do you no possibility? I see no possibility.
I don't see that.
Yeah.
I think you already have one of your 3 lead characters as having proven to be like a terrorist, you know, in Brody. So you can't have one of the other ones turn out to be like that.
Too many variables. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that Saul's latest plan is. It makes the Middle East peace plan in White House Down seem plausible by comparison. Now on Blu-ray, starring Ben Mankiewicz.
That's right. That's right. It's gotta be. I get to, there's SAG money for the Blu-ray sale, right?
I would hope so.
I would hope so. Yeah.
That's a
Bring
fun
it
movie.
on. I made my $8.50. I want more.
Hey, that's a fun movie. I would recommend that as a.
Yeah, totally. The people didn't like that movie enough. It was still delightful.
It was super entertaining.
It was a super entertaining.
It was better than Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh God. Yes.
So now, Carrie, what is like? First of all, she turned and accepted this plan very quickly, from going from risking her life and the operation to prove Brody's innocence, right? Getting shot in the shoulder. God, Quinn is a good shot, right?
Yeah, missed all the nerves.
Yeah. So, and I like how Carrie understands that. You're a very lucky girl. She's like, no, he's a great shot.
And pivoted her away from the line of sight of
right.
Shooting
her
fall
to the left.
Yeah, that's like
fall under the overhang.
That's some good shooting.
And so she does that, and we don't even know if they got that guy, do we? The shooter, like.
Oh no, I think he walked.
They walked. The plan was to let him walk and follow.
Yeah.
What the hell happened with that? I guess that's
next week.
That's where Quinn is, theoretically.
Yeah.
Quinn is on that detail. So, but Carrie, pregnant, smoking. Like, that's no accident.
Yeah, she has never given a shit. I mean, well, that's true. Yeah, the suddenly smoking. That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
That's a powerful image. I mean, you tell them the character, the star of the show, is pregnant at 13 weeks. She gets shot. We learn that the baby's okay, and then the next health-related scene we see, she's like,
that's pay cable for you.
Yeah.
I love the doctor being like, baby's okay.
Yeah.
Like, are you remotely interested?
But that's not in there accidentally. I mean, yes, that's pay cable, but I mean, that's the writers have Carrie smoking there for a reason.
True,
she went hoping for a miscarriage.
Because she's self-destructive. Just because, that's just good.
Well, and maybe now that she knows that Brody is alive
and healthy.
Exactly. It's less important that the baby live at this point.
I think it'll be the other way around. I think next week, now that Brody is back and doing something noble for her, or for whatever reason he's doing it, I bet she's like, our next scene is her taking prenatal vitamins. Yeah, prenatal vitamins, sort of, a little yoga, some stretching.
Putting some wheat germ in a blender.
Right, exactly. Eating right, making sure she gets protein. I don't know. I thought that, I just thought that was telling, or interesting anyway, to have her doing that. So overall, again, an expositional episode and setting stuff up.
And I'm really happy with. I know people have been really up in arms over Dana being a part of the show this season, but I like that they led to this moment with Brody, because she had some great lines there.
Yeah. Did you ever think for a second whether I wanted to see you? Great line.
That's a great line. Even the whole write it down for me, I'll say it for you. I mean, I did think she handled it great.
Do maids live in the motels where they work?
That part was a lot.
I did not know that.
Well, and also just the idea that it was insanely stupid of Carrie to take Brody over to see Dana and have them meet, because that's like one of those things where you just think that really does compromise the mission. I mean,
my father's here; he's a terrorist.
Yeah. It's like phone call number 1. I mean, yeah. So it led to a great emotional moment for the sake of the show, but it is really
I
reckless.
thought we'd get a scene where Carrie said to Dana, your dad is doing something for us, something good, you can't tell anybody you saw him, at the very least, that would have helped. Because what's to keep her from calling her mom, and then her mom calls the police?
I think Dana just doesn't want to get embroiled in that at all.
Please.
So I mean, I buy her not wanting to call anybody.
Carrie probably thought,
but I don't buy Carrie not
covering
making
her
sure.
tracks.
Yeah,
No, that's true.
But Carrie probably, because she is ultimately very smart, she probably guessed psychologically that Dana would not want to do anything about seeing her after seeing her dad.
And I like Carrie's line to Saul. I like Carrie standing up to Saul a little bit. Is there a way we can trust each other, or a way that we
fake it?
Or we could fake it, and then he comes back. He's like, whatever he said. There are moments where I just question your sanity. And she says to him, "Yeah, it's fine." Like, remember, things could have gone wrong. She goes, "But they didn't, right? Because I'm good at this." And the whole reason you operate like that was like she'd sort of fought back against Saul prior to that very meekly, but this was
No, I mean,
and she walked off. She ended the conversation.
We really are supposed to look at this season as, if the first 2 seasons were about the strange decision making of Carrie, this is the season of where we're supposed to look at Saul's decision making and question.
Yeah, and the fact that he's exploiting her in the first place.
Yeah.
All right, we got to go, but let me ask this: thoughts? Does Brody survive the season?
Something tells me that we would have heard if he didn't. I mean, people are so crappy about keeping secrets now.
Right, like he would have not, season 4, but not with Damian
Exactly.
Lewis,
Like
right.
if he hadn't signed for season 4, word would have gotten out. It'd been like when the guy, on Downton Abbey. I think they would have had a hard time keeping a lid on that one. So I suspect he's still in.
And I suspect he's not, because I think I remember thinking he would be gone in season 2.
Right.
So yeah.
I think he's gone. I think they need to kill him from a story point of view. Like,
No, I agree. I wouldn't mind if they did, but
we can't have any more. Season 4 they need to start with a fresh enemy and have some fresh spying. Because there's the last thing I want to ask you guys, because there's a lot of talk in these recaps that I read, like what the year is about, and that it's frustrated people. I think I don't care what the year is about. I just want to care about the characters, and it's enough for me. And maybe I'm a simpleton viewer, and I don't mean that to try and be self-deprecating. Like, I think I care if you make me interested in what happens next.
Right.
And that may be enough, and I don't need it to be the big answer to a big question.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still see a show that's about the same things it was in the first season, about what it takes to keep the country safe, who are the people that are doing this, and what are they like, and and what are the consequences of decisions that these people in this particular job make.
And from a dramatic standpoint, I like how they sort of juggle these unreliable narrators. I mean, the whole first season was like, is he brainwashed? Is she paranoid? And does it matter either way? Because if they're both telling the truth, or this is going to happen either way. So I think as long as the show can unfold in a way where we don't know who to trust or why they should be trusted, and yet we understand why they do what they do, then that's compelling enough.
I think also, by the way, the Senator Lockhart using the Israeli spy, like, is that going to be the end of that, or that's telling that, and do you think they did pick him up and he admitted it, or Saul just fed him that line?
That's a good question. We never saw a scene. We never saw. But they shoot scenes and they don't put them in, because this show ran almost up to the hour, so they might have shot a scene with them interrogating the guy, and they just decided they didn't need it.
And interesting that the senator would use, what is it? There's a little commentary there about the senator using an Israeli, a Mossad agent to do his dirty work. Yeah. Anyway, good stuff.
And he finally got a scene with Carrie, which was fun.
Yeah.
And he did, that was good, yeah. And she played him. She's good, even drugged up. Yeah. She's good. All right, obviously, I think we're in the stretch drive. We got 3 more, is that right? 3 or 2?
3 more. This is episode 9. That was episode 9, wasn't it?
Yeah, so 10, 11, and 12.
3 more.
Thanks, guys.